Hello, class 8 students. Greetings of the day. I, Mohammad Zishan, welcome you to the online classes of Bloomingbird Squad School. Dear students, today we are going to study history. It is the very first lecture of history. So, dear students, history. As we all know that history is the study of some important events and incidents of the past. The incidents which can give us a lesson and maybe prove very much helpful for our living in the future. We learn a lot of things from our past and try not to repeat the mistakes which our ancestors did in the past, and we try to evolve in a better way and to be a better human by studying our history. So, dear students, you may wonder that how do we come to know about the past incidents? How do we know that what happened in the past? Like suppose if you are at your home and if your grandfather is no more and you want to know about him, then how will you know? You will ask from your parents, they will tell you, and you may search for some of his belongings, like his clothes, like his books, or his diaries, or his various other things which he used, and try to have an assumption or try to conclude about your grandfather, ke how was he, which kind of man he was. So likewise, dear students, if you want to know about the past, then we need to have sources of the past. Sources of the past. So what are the sources? Sources are the piece of information which gives us the evidence about the past. It gives us information and evidence about the past. So, because of these sources only, or due to these, with the help of these sources only, we can reconstruct our history or reconstruct our past. Now, these sources may be categorized into two types. First is primary source, and another is secondary source. Primary source and secondary source. The primary sources further may be categorized into two types: archaeological sources as well as literary sources. And here we have only literary sources. Now, archaeological sources, the sources means the leftover buildings, monuments, and any physical structure which is left behind by our ancestor comes under the archaeological source. It may be a fort, it may be a pillar, it may be a fort, pillar, or anything, okay, a tomb, okay, anything it may be, okay, minar, or even coins, cities like Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, right? So all such things, the physical leftovers of our ancestors is called the archaeological sources, right? These are the primary sources and secondary sources. These are the first hand sources, and these are the second hand sources. Okay, these sources are processed. Like suppose if I found a city, okay, near in Sahiwal district of Pakistan, right, and I studied that and I wrote a book and named it Mohenjo-daro, right, right. or I may name anything. Huh? So that book which I have written, that ABC book, right, which I have written, named ABC, that will become the secondary source, and that Mohenjo-daro or Harappa or any fort which I have discovered and wrote about the book, that will be the primary source. Okay, so secondary sources are the processed, analyzed, evaluated, and you can say the processed information about the process information which we got from the first hand sources. Okay, so these are the archaeological sources. In literary sources, what we can get? We can get manuscripts. Manuscripts means the scripts which were written by hand. Earlier, our ancestors used to write on the leaves, tree leaves. Okay, so on tree leaves, on bark, on animal skins. Okay, so such types of things which are written by the hand is called manuscripts. So manuscripts we can say, or some suppose if you are studying about the British, right? So the letters which were sent by British officials, right? That may be their letters, okay, or other literary things which are of first hand kind, okay, those are called the literary sources, the literary primary sources. Okay, now the secondary sources, anything which is processed, okay, anything which is processed, it may be a book, right? We come to know about history from the book like Holy Faith we are studying, or if we study the book of R.S. Sharma or the book of Vipin Chandra, Satish Chandra, okay, though these all books contains history information and we come to know by that book only. So these books are called what? Secondary sources. Okay, so these are the sources, right? So in primary sources, there may be documents, reports, diaries, autobiographies, buildings, and audio video recordings. Okay, here what it can be? Audio video recordings, buildings, autobiographies, and uh, other than that, reports, official documents, etc. And whereas in secondary, the articles in newspaper, magazines, journals, etc. Falls under the secondary sources. So these sources help us to reconstruct our past, okay, and to recreate our, or you can say to know about the history. So how do we come to know about history? We come to know about history through the sources. Sources are the information, right, or which the information which provide us evidence about the history. So I have told you about history. How do we come to know about history? Now we will study the first chapter of history, which is about a transition period. About a transition period. Now that period is a transition period from medieval to modern. Okay, like suppose if you are here, you are here, and you want to reach here. So this much period will be called transition period. Okay, so when you are shifting from medieval to the modern age, we can divide history basically into three parts, okay, on the basis of, you can say, time period: ancient, medieval, and modern, right? So the period which was between the medieval and modern, okay, that period is called transition. The end of the medieval, this end of the medieval, and the start of modern, okay, so start of modern period, this period is called transition period. Transition means change from one stage or position or condition or time to another stage, position or condition or time, that is called transition. So here let me check the video please, how it is going on. Okay, going good. So here transition is taking place. Now, what changes were taking place? Okay, which were the changes which were taking place during this time that we are going to study? We know that we will study about basically Europe. Okay, we will be focused to Europe. We have written about world, but we modern to medieval to modern world, but we will be studying about Europe. Now, how the society of Europe was during the medieval period? It was a feudal society. It was a feudal society. And what was the position of church? Church were very much strong, okay? A seat of authority. Religion was dominant, okay? Church were strong, okay? Religion was very much dominant, and society was feudal society. In a feudal society, there is a king, and he divide his land and give it to the lords, okay, and lords in return further divide it and give it to his vessel lords, and vessel to or other smaller lords, okay, and finally the land is reached to the peasants and serfs. So peasant and serf work on the land in return of security, in return of security and food and security is given by the king, right? So whenever this king need the help of these lords, okay, the lords provide help to the king, and other than that they also keep paying revenues to the king, okay, and these lords were needed to keep the army, okay, army, and that army was sent to help king in the times of needs during attacks by the other kings, okay. So this type of society was called a feudal society, samantvad you can say, right? In Hindi it is samantvad, right? So that feudal society, in that the lowest category people were the serf, okay. You can see, I can draw it here like this, suppose, right? So here the king was at the top, and the serf were the landless peasants, okay, those who used to work on the land of the lords, okay. Lords were in between, right? You can say there may be further more divisions also, but the land was divided and given to the lords, and these lords used to appoint serfs as well as other peasants to work on their land, and in return to that the peasants and serfs were given food and security, right? And these lords were supposed to maintain army, okay. In their army, knights were there, okay. Society was like this, means peasants and serfs, knights and lords, vassals and lords, okay, like this society was here. So the work of knight was to safeguard the land and to give the security to the land, to the serfs and the peasants. So this type of society was based on agricultural land, okay. So now in this society, one more thing was there. During that time, religion was very dominant. The church, especially Catholic churches, were very dominant, and they used to interfere in the political affairs of the kings at the time, okay. So these things were there. Now how the things will change from here to here, which things will be there, okay. So first thing we will study, that will be fall of Constantinople. Fall of Constantinople, 1453, Jang al-Fatih. Now you all have seen Artugal Ghazi, right? So the descendant of Artugal Ghazi and Usman, right? That his name was Mehmet. Mehmet defeated Constantine. The ruler of Constantinople was called Constantine. So in 1453 in Jang al-Fatih, he defeated Constantine and captured Constantinople. What was Constantinople? Today's Istanbul or Asia Minor region was called Constantinople. The area of Turkey which is the part of Europe, okay, that one area was called Constantinople. So it was won by Muhammad. Okay, this was one of the crucial incident which led to the uh, end of medieval period and evolution of the modern period. Then second thing was decline of feudalism. Decline of feudalism. This feudalism which we have studied, it got declined. Okay. People, as people were there, they were not getting much benefits from the land, so they shifted towards other occupation, right? They shifted towards other occupations like blacksmithing or other or trading. Okay, these occupations, so that led to the fall of feudal society, feudal world, okay, feudalism. And that also became one of the reason of evolution of modern period and end of medieval period. And you can say that these were the features of the transition period. Okay, these things took place during the transition period. Then third thing we will study about, that is uh, printing press, invention of printing press. So in 1450s only, the printing press was invented by Johannes Gutenberg. Johannes Gutenberg. This also helped in transition. Okay, then other things we will study: decline of feudalism, invention of the printing press, fall of Constantinople, and voyages, crusades also, and voyages. So these things took place this time, okay, and it helped this world evolving from medieval to the modern world, right? Now, which were these things? I have already told you about fall of Constantinople, right? Now, when before the fall of Constantinople, what was the scene? The crusades were going on. Okay, crusades were launched to capture the lands in the Asia. Okay, especially the lands which were owned by, which were possessed by Muslims. Okay, so it was the war of Christians on the Muslim empire, right? So in these crusaders used to send their armies and attack on the Muslim lands. Okay, uh, in that series, these crusaders, they were very much dominant in the society, and on the name of this holy war, they used to collect a huge amount of money from the Christian world. All the wealth of the Christian world was drained to Rome, right? To Rome on the name of religion and these holy wars, right? And the society was feudal society. In on this feudal society, the Christianity or the Catholic churches were having very much dominance, and they were having a seat of authority. They used to collect tithe, a tax, okay, from the people, right, which was 1/10 of the total produce, okay. And they used to give they used to give the indulgences means if you have committed any crime or you have committed any sin, okay, so you will be given pardon by the priest, Catholic priest. He will give you a letter of pardon and he will say, okay, he has committed this crime, and now I did this the priest of this temple or this church, okay, I forgive him from his sins. Okay, so those letters were called indulgences. What? Indulgences. If you were indulged in any wrong thing, then you could be, your sins could be forgiven by paying money to the priest. Okay, so these practices were there, getting, during the medieval time. And other things were also there, like Peter Spanny was here. Okay, Peter Spence means in that the for the construction of St. Peter's Church, people were forced to give money, right? That was also collected. So you can say these Catholic churches were playing very crucial, very dominant role in the polity as well as in the life and religion, means in temporal world also and the divine world also. Getting now, so that were there. So when this was done, okay, Jangal Fatih was there, okay, fall of Constantinople took place in 1453. And then what happened? These were the Ottoman Turks. Ottoman Turks. Okay, these were the Ottoman Turks. Suppose it was like this. So here, this one region, Turkey one region, and this one region. This entire region, okay, you can say here, this one region, here Turkey, and this is Mediterranean Sea, here you can say, right, Mediterranean Sea. So this is Africa, right, so north of Africa, and all routes which were joining Asia, this entire region was, you can say, captured by Ottoman Turks. Ottoman Turks, right? Now, this entire region was captured by Ottoman Turks. Okay. Now, the European world, which was here, okay, they were supposed to carry out trade with the Asia, right? Right. So they started searching new routes that we will study in next lecture. So fall of Constantinople was there, decline of feudalism was there. Okay, invention of printing press. How invention of printing press helped? How invention of printing press helped in transition? The revolutionary ideas, okay, of the religious writers or various writers who advocated liberalism, or you can say various modern ideas were there. Okay, and the Bible was printed for the first time, right? Bible was printed for the first time, and people came to know, okay, what was actually written in the Bible, right? And the teachings of Bible which were written in the Bible, people found those teachings opposite to the things which were being taught by the church were exploiting people, right, by misguiding people, by giving them wrong information on the name of Bible, right? So these things were there. So this by this, when a lot of copies of Bible were printed, so these reached in the hands of the people, and they were enlightened by the teachings of the Bible and various other books. So they challenged the authority of the churches, that we will study in the next topics in very descriptive manner. Okay, then crusades were the holy wars. Okay, I have already told you in class 7th also, you have studied, right? And voyage is a sea journey. See, the sea journeys were carried out in order to find the new sea routes, that also we will study. So these things, these were the main points or main features and characteristics of this transition period, right? Which is, you can say, from 14th century to 17th century. Okay, this time period is called transition period. Okay, so we have studied about this. During this transition period only, when the fall of Constantinople took place, so the people, those who were residing here in Constantinople, okay, especially the painters, sculptors, and the people of art, okay, those who knew the various arts and science, okay, poets, these people, those who were residing in Constantinople, as Constantinople was the seat, the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, right? So from here, when the fall of Constantinople took place, these people migrated to Where? To Italy. Okay, migrated to Italy, to a city called Florence. Florence in Italy. Okay, Rome, right? Rome was also there, and Florence in particularly. So they settled there, right? Now, by their settling, what happened? People of Italy, particularly Italy and Florence, and otherwise in broad manner entire Europe, they started rediscovering their past. Okay, they started taking interest in the Greek as well as Roman civilization, the things, the heritage which they inherited from their forefathers. Okay, the civilization of Romans and the civilization of Egyptians, their teachings, okay, their arts, their sculpture, right? The interest was taken in those things, and those things were revived. Okay, revived. The culture was revived. Okay, the revival of culture took place during this time only, and that is called Renaissance. So we are going to study Renaissance in detail now. I hope you would have understood that. You can take a, sorry, okay, you would have taken a screenshot. Now I'm erasing this. Let me check video. Okay, 26 minutes. Now we will study about the Renaissance. Okay, Renaissance is a French word which means revival or rebirth. It is a French word, but Renaissance started in Italy, okay, in Florence. So, what rebirth of which thing? Revival of what? Okay, so revival of or rebirth of Roman as well as Greek culture, right? It started from Italy. Renaissance is a French word which means rebirth or revival of interest in classical Greek and Roman text and culture. Okay, so people started taking interest in classical Roman and Greek culture. Okay, right? This period marked the end of Dark Ages and focused on the great works of art and literature. The spread of new ideas and increase in the trade and travel led to rise in prosperity. This period also generated an interest in education, supported the flourishing arts, and promoted scientific discoveries and new inventions. Okay, right. So what happened here, the people, especially the people, those what happened, I have told you that, okay, when these sculptors, painters, and other people, those who were educated people, and uh, various scientists also, poets also, when they assembled in the Florence, okay, then there was a revival in the Greek and Roman culture. Actually, the Roman and Greeks were having very rich culture. Their paintings, their sculpture, and their science and technology was of its best kind at the time. Okay, so these people started researching on that. Okay, they started reviving that, right? So that period is called revival or rebirth. So in this we there were so many features of Renaissance, so many characteristics of Renaissance were there, and these characteristics are like humanism means here people started focusing on the value of humans, and solving their problem by logic and reasons rather than religion. Earlier religion was very much dominant. Okay, now during this time, okay, people started giving scientific reasons for the solution to the human problems, okay, and they started understanding the value of humans more than the religion, you can say, right? Then scientific spirit, okay, scientific spirit was the second characteristic. Here people became more scientific. They stopped accepting the facts blindfoldedly. Like earlier it was told that earth was flat, okay, or the earth is the central point of universe, and entire solar system as well as sun revolves around the earth. It was the misbelief, okay, during the medieval period. So that misbelief was broken by scientists or the mathematician and archaeologists like Copernicus, okay, like Copernicus, Aristotle, sorry, not Aristotle, Copernicus, sorry, not Aristotle, Copernicus, okay, Copernicus, clear. uh, So, with more interest in humanism, the Roman Catholic religion wanted gain its power. Along with lessening of the power of the church, the prominence of Rome as cultural and intellectual center of Europe was reduced. The new humanist viewpoint of the Renaissance also turned the interest of societies towards science, research, and inventions. Old conventional beliefs such as Earth is the central point of solar system was proved wrong by astronomers and mathematicians like Copernicus and Galileo. And Galileo. Okay. Uh, they put forward the view that the earth revolves around the sun and at the center of the solar system uh, and the center of the solar system is the sun. Such theories helped the Europeans to develop a scientific approach towards life. Okay. So here by saying that okay, sun is the central point of solar system and all other planets are revolving around the sun, they were actually challenging the statements of Bible, or you can say, or religion. They were challenging religion, right? Now means the people came in such position that they could challenge religion. Earlier in medieval time, if someone was to challenge religion, he was hanged, he was put to death, okay, he was given death punishment, right? So people didn't dare to give their revolutionary and scientific ideas. They were afraid of that. But as the power of Catholic churches reduced, declined, okay, people became free to express their scientific views, right? And this was the result of this scientific view, right? Video is 32, okay. Now, after that, we will study one more point, which is individualism. Okay, so in individualism, it emphasized worth of all humans, their talent, skills, personalities, and appearances. Okay, so individualism emphasized on worth of talent of human being. Okay, as an individual, they started considering means earlier religion was a kind of communal. Okay, entire community was involved. Now individualism means an individual is given importance, his skills, his art, his other characteristics are given more importance. Okay, their talents, skill, personalities, and appearances were given more talent. Then last is, you can say, classism. Last was scientific individualism, classism. So in classicism, paintings and sculptures became more realistic and fine. Okay, like Michelangelo, Raphael, Leonardo da Vinci. These were the painters and sculptors who made the paintings and sculptures of very nice quality. Okay, even the minute description of the body was depicted in their sculpture and paintings. Paintings become more colorful. Okay, so many what do we call to them, So many types of paintings were there. I'm not able to recall that term. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, right. So here, okay, this was the last point. Painting and sculpture became more realistic, fine and emotional, right? And Renaissance art too became more natural and realistic. It brought about the great work of art that we still have today. Realistic art involves a number of techniques that mark the subject and background look real. This also means giving the subject more emotional qualities. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael are the most famous artists of the Renaissance. Renaissance artists borrowed Roman style of sculpture and architecture. They began studying books of classical age. In short, Renaissance, marked by a humanistic revival of classic influence, was expressed in a flowering of arts and literature and the beginning of modern science, and further brought in many changes in the modern world like reformation, discoveries and voyages, industrialization and imperialism, right? So this classicism, you can say, was class. What is the actual meaning of classic? Classic means, okay, when the fine of its quality, okay, the best of one's quality, right? So the quality of painting and art became one of the best, right? So that classicism, okay, is also one of the feature of Renaissance.